Welcome students. Good evening. Today we are going to start with a new topic, coordinate system and straight lines. A familiar topic to all, especially coordinate system is a easiest topic in fact, provided you remember all the formulas that comes in that particular topic. So let us first see what is the objective of today's class. So we'll learn about the coordinate system and Cartesian coordinate systems. You already know what do we mean by Cartesian product or maybe ordered pairs. So we'll be just glancing that. And then the quadrants of the coordinate system, then sign conventions, Cartesian coordinates of a point. So these are all simple topics which you already know. We'll be glancing through that. And then we'll come across distance formula and its applications, section formula, area of triangle and area of quadrilateral, and then the centroid of a triangle, incenter of a triangle, circumcenter of a triangle, which we have already discussed in the properties of triangle chapter. We'll be just going through the formulas here. And then orthocenter of a triangle, excenter of a triangle. So these are the topics which we'll be covering today, and then problems related to these. First, let us see what is coordinate system. A system in which points are defined as an ordered pair. You already know what ordered pair is. In the very first topic, we have covered this ordered pair. X, y is called the coordinate system. Here, X is called the abscissa and Y is called the ordinate. Okay, X always falls on the X axis and Y, the ordinate on the Y axis. So if you consider this example 4, 6 is an ordered pair. So how do you consider that? Here, the first number is the X axis and the second number falls on the Y axis. So if we consider two-dimensional figure where we take X and Y axis, if you mark the origin as so, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then if you suppose to plot this 4, 6 point on this graph, it would be somewhere over here. This would be your coordinate system, the ordered pair 4, 6, the point. Okay. We'll be seeing that again here. A Cartesian coordinate system or a coordinate system is used to locate the position of any point, and that point can be plotted as an ordered pair X, Y known as coordinates. The horizontal number line is called the X-axis and the vertical number line is called the Y-axis, and the point of intersection of these two axes is known as the origin. So all these are very common topics which you already know well. So this is a graph. So you know the X-axis, the horizontal, vertical, and then the origin. So the coordinate plane is also known as a two-dimensional plane. So we observe that the coordinate plane here is also known as a two-dimensional plane. And the X-axis is named as X dash because we consider the negative side as X dash and Y-axis as Y dash, the negative side as Y dash. So quadrants of coordinate system. So you already know the coordinate axis X dash and Y dash divides the Cartesian plane into a four quadrants, which you already know. It's divided into 4 quadrants here. As we have already discussed in the previous topics in which you already know, here in the first quadrant, both X and Y axis are positive, whereas in the second quadrant, X will be negative and Y is positive, because you can see here the numbers of Y-axis are positive, but for X-axis it is negative. In the third quadrant, both will be negative. X as well as Y-axis are negative. And for the fourth quadrant, X is positive, but Y is negative. So these are the signs with respect to the quadrants in which they lie. You can see that. X, O, Y. This is called as the first quadrant, then the second, third, and fourth quadrant. Okay. Next, the sign which we already have discussed. So the ray OX on the x-axis is taken as positive, OX dash as negative. It's already told. And then according to that, you take the signs of the quadrant. So first quadrant is all positive. Second quadrant, X is negative and Y is positive. In the third quadrant, both are negative. And in the fourth quadrant, X is positive and Y is negative. This is the sign convention of the quadrants of coordinate, or you can say two-dimensional plane. So now Cartesian coordinates of a point. If you consider a point P, in the X and Y axis in the first quadrant here, P of X comma Y, we see that the length of the line segment OR is called the X coordinate, or here you observe that this one, OR. This length is called as the X coordinate or abscissa of the point P, and the length OS, if you see this, OS. So this is called as a Y coordinate, or what do you call that otherwise? It is called as a ordinate. Okay. Thus, for any given point, the abscissa and the ordinate are the distance of the point from x-axis and y-axis respectively. So the position of P, if you consider this point P, the distance is from O to this point, that is R and O. Yes, this gives you the distance. Okay. So take the point on the x-axis, then clearly the distance of the point from x-axis is 0. If you take the point on x-axis, then the distance from x-axis will be 0. Thus, the ordinate or y-coordinate of any point on the x-axis is 0. Suppose we say a point here, 3. If I consider this point, then what can you say about the ordered pairs here? It is just 3, 0. The distance from the x-axis, you can easily say it's 0 to 3, but on y-axis is always 0. Hence, the coordinate of the point on the x-axis is given by x, 0. Similarly, the point on y-axis, if I consider the 4, okay, if I consider 4, I can say that the point here for this is on x-axis, sorry, y-axis, right? So you mark y-axis for the ordered pair. What about x? It is marked at 0. You see that x coordinate is at 0. So you write as 0, 4. So when a point falls on y-axis, then you say that the coordinates of the point on y-axis is given by 0, y. Okay. Next, we come across distance formula. So the distance between any two points in a plane is a length of the line segment joining them. So this is already known to you all, isn't it? The distance between any 2 points in the plane is nothing but the length of the line segment joining them. So let us consider a straight line here. Okay, I'm considering a line here. So what's the distance if I take the points to be, say, A here and B here? What can you say about the distance of this? You would already know the formula, or okay, let us see what is been considered here first. If is it A or P? Okay, we have taken P. Let me not confuse you all. I'll take it as P and Q itself. Okay, I'll take it as P of x1, y1 and Q of x2, y2. So the distance between this, okay, between any 2 points in the xy plane, if you consider a xy plane, the distance between any 2 points is calculated by considering this formula, that is mod. So that means even though it is negative, it becomes positive. The final value is equal to root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So first, you know that the distance between these x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, the root of that gives you the distance between the given 2 points. Suppose the distance is between the origin and a point P. Suppose instead of considering like this, we take a origin as 1 point and the point P here. Okay, OP. What would be the distance here? You know already the origins ordered pairs or the coordinates of that would be 0, 0. So what would be OP? OP would be straight x square plus y square. Or in this case, I can say x1 square plus y1 square. Root of that will give you OP. So this is very much clear for you all. I assume that it's clear to you all because distance formula is considered between 2 points. Okay. Let us explain this with an example. Find a point P which is equidistant from 3 points A, B and C. How do we solve this? You're supposed to find a point P which is equidistant from 3 points. As told to you all now, I told the distance formula is between 2 points, right? So how do we solve this? You already know that it is equidistant, and that is equidistant from which point? From a point P, correct? So we can consider one thing here. We'll take the point, let P of A comma B. I'll take this as the x and y axis as A and B here, be the point. If that is a point, it's given that PA is equal to PB and that is equal to PC. This is already given to me. I'm supposed to find this point P. First, let me consider PA is equal to PB. Okay. So here, I know the distance between PA. If I consider a straight line, PA, and they've told it's equidistant. So I can take PA, P of A comma B, and A is nothing but, it's already given 0, 1. What would be the distance here? See, in such cases, you can also square it up because it will be easier for you to solve. So PA square is equal to PB square is equal to PC square. That's also same because they are equidistant. In this case, I can leave out the root because you already know the formula says x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. If I square it, I can cancel out the root. Now directly I can write a minus 0 is a square. I'm considering only PA and PB. So for PA a square, a minus 0 is a only. So a square plus b minus 1 whole square is equal to, similarly, PB. If I consider PB another point, I'll take here only B. It's 1, 0. So a minus 1 whole square plus b square. Now, if I have to open up this identity, I can write it as b square plus 1 minus 2b, and that is equal to a square plus 1 minus 2a plus b square. So I can cancel out a square and b square, 1. All these are common. If you take it to one side, they will get cancelled. And minus 2, minus 2. What are you left with? You have only a is equal to b. What is the next thing I need to do? I need to find out both the points, a and b. I just got a hint that a is equal to b. Let me consider the next part. PA is equal to PC. Let me take PA is equal to PC. Now, PA, you already know it's a square plus b minus 1 whole square. What about PC? 4, 3. What will I get? PC would be a minus 4 whole square plus b minus 3 whole square. Can you solve this and tell me? Yes, on this side, I'll get the same terms. So it will be minus 2b. And here, a square plus 16 minus 2 4s are 8a plus b square plus 9 minus 2 3s are 6b. Now try to cancel out the terms which are common on both the sides. That's it. So now taking variables to one side, I can write it as minus 2b plus 8a plus 6b is equal to 16 plus 9 minus 1. Am I right? I've taken all the variables to one side and the numerals to the other. So I can write this as 8a plus 4b. And here 25 minus 1 is 24. If I get it to this side, 24 is equal to 0. What's common to me here? Can I say it's 4? Yes, if I take out 4 as common, 2a plus b minus 6 is equal to 0. So 2a plus b minus 6 is equal to 0 if I take 4 to the other side. What can be done next? I need to find the value, and I have another hint here, that is a is equal to b. Let me replace a by b or b by a. So I can write 2a plus a is equal to 6. That will become 3a is equal to 6. That will imply a is equal to 2. I got a as 2. So can I answer my question now? Right, because a is equal to 2, b also is equal to 2. So your right answer is option B, 2, comma 2. Is that clear? So distance formula questions, you won't get direct questions. You will have questions of this kind where you are given some equidistant and all those things. You should be able to rectify that. Next, application of distance formula. So what do you mean by collinear points? When we speak about collinear points, what do you mean by that? It is 3 points in an XY plane. They are said to be collinear if the sum of the distance between two pairs of points is equal to the third pair. For example, if I consider a straight line like this, and if I say there are 3 points, A, B, and C. So here I can say these are collinear if the distance between AB plus BC is equal to AC. This is a condition. If this holds true, then I can say that ABC are collinear points. Next, 3 points. Always when there are 3 points, they are actually non-collinear. They cannot be collinear to each other. Collinear means lying on the same straight line. Okay. So if I consider 3 points, it should be a triangle, which are non-collinear. You know, they are not on the same straight line. So when do you say that a triangle is collinear? When can you say that they are collinear? For this also, you have a condition that comes when you find the area of a triangle. Okay, I hope you already know that. When area of triangle ABC is equal to 0, you can say that ABC are collinear because they are on the same straight line. When the area becomes 0, that means the triangle is not formed, right? So if you have to prove that a triangle is collinear, then you have to find that the area of triangle is equal to 0. So when we speak about triangle, you have isosceles triangle. So if lengths of two sides, see, when you actually find distance formula and they ask you questions related to, they'll give you 3 points and they'll give you options where they say to see whether it is a triangle or whether it is an isosceles triangle or does it form square, rectangles. So for all this, you should know the condition of these particular shapes. If you know the conditions, then it's very easy to apply distance formula and arrive at your answer. So now you have isosceles triangle. When we speak about isosceles triangle, you know the length of two sides of that particular triangle are equal. So when you find the distance between these, if you get AB is equal to AC or AB is equal to BC and the other one is different, you can clearly say it is an isosceles triangle. In equilateral triangle, if all the three sides are equal, you say it is equilateral triangle. For right angle triangle, again, like collinear, what happens? The longest side AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. That says that it is a right angle triangle because of Pythagoras theorem. Similarly, when we have 4 points in a plane, we call it as a quadrilateral. You already know this. So what are the different types of quadrilateral? What's the condition for that? Let us see here. Square. You know, for a square, all sides are equal. This is clear to everyone, right? For a square, all the sides are equal. But when you see for rhombus also, all 4 sides are equal. But what is the difference between the square and rhombus? For square, the diagonals are also equal. So when you get a square and rhombus in your question, if you just find the 4 sides, it's not sufficient. You have to also find the diagonals. Only if the diagonals are equal, you say that they are square. Otherwise, the points actually form a rhombus, because in a rhombus, the diagonals are not equal, but they are perpendicular to each other. So these conditions you should not forget. Suppose the questions are asked. Next, when it comes to rectangle, the opposite sides are equal and the diagonals are equal. So when we speak about a rectangle, you know that the opposite sides are equal. So if you consider ABCD, AB is equal to CD and AD is equal to BC, and also the diagonals are equal here. The diagonals are equal. That is a condition. For parallelogram also the opposite sides are equal, but the diagonals are not equal. So you should always check to get a clarity between these two. And same with square and rhombus. Next, applications again, we have a simple problem here. Can you just solve this using distance formula and say whether the given coordinates of the points, if you consider the points to be A, B, C, and D, can you tell me what it forms, whether it's a square, a rectangle, a rhombus, or a parallelogram? You already know the conditions. Please try using the formula. You have to check for all, in fact, here, because you need to even check for the, I'll just take a quadrilateral. I don't know whether it's a square. I don't know whether it's a parallelogram. I don't know anything about it. So I'm just taking it as a normal figure where A, B, C, D are marked in a circular manner, cyclic manner, and then 1, -2, 3, 6, 5, 10, and 3, 2. This is written. So can you start using distance formula? So when you're given such questions, it's usually using distance formula. AB is equal to root of 1 minus 3 whole square plus -2 minus 6. See, you might be wondering why I'm not taking 3 minus 1. It's one at the same, because when it squares up, the negative sign becomes positive. So don't worry about that. You can take x1 minus x2 whole square also. Okay. So -2 whole square is 4 plus 8 square is 64. So I'll get 68. Can I solve this further? 17 fours are 68. So I can write 2 root 17. Similarly, I'll have to find for BC. So BC would be 3 minus 5 whole square plus 6 minus 10 whole square. So it is 2 square is 4 plus 4 square is 16. So I get root 20, which is equal to again 2 root 5. And then CD would be 5 minus 3, 2, that is 4, plus 10 minus 2 is 8, that's 64, is equal to root 68. So I can write it as 2 root 17. And DA would be 3 minus 1 is 2. So 4 plus 4, 4, 16, which is equal to 20. I hope you have already solved it. So it's, what do I see here? I see that two sides are, opposite sides are equal, isn't it? See here, opposite sides are equal. Now, what should I do? I know opposite sides are equal in a rectangle as well as parallelogram. I have both the options given here. It's not a square nor a rhombus. So it is B, a rectangle. For that, yes, we'd have to check for the diagonals. I hope you have already checked. Let me check it once for you all. So BD. BD is equal to root of 3 minus 3 is 0. Plus 6 minus 2 is 4. So 4 square would be 16. So root 16 is 4. I already got BD. Now AC. AC would be root 1 minus 5 is minus 4 whole square. Minus 4 whole square plus minus 2 minus 10 is minus 12 whole square. So 16 plus 144, and that would be 125. Yes, that is 125. So if I'm supposed to write this further, I can write it as I think I can write it as 4 root 10. Correct. Sorry, this has to be 4 root 10. Correct. It will be 4 root 10. So we observe that the diagonals are not same. So in such a case, we call it as a parallelogram. Okay. So you have to always check for the diagonals and then conclude your answer. So ABCD is a parallelogram. Right answer. Let's see further. You have section formula. Let you have A and B given there. 2 points, and the point P of X comma Y divides the line. Actually, there's a derivation for this, you would already know, but I'll not be discussing about the derivation. We'll be just going through the formula. Okay. So if you have this A, B, and a point P of X comma Y, and they're divided intrinsically in the ratio M is to N. So what is the formula for this? The section formula for this would be, for internal division, it is mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, comma, m by 2 plus ny1 by m plus n. Okay, so if you consider the points x1, y1 and x2, y2, then with the ratio they're considering, so m x2 plus n x1, just see m x2 plus n x1 by m plus n, comma, m x y2 plus n y1 by m plus n. So that is for intrinsic values, or when the ratio is inside the line. Suppose you have a straight line of this form, and the point actually, you have the points AB, and this point which divides the line segment is outside. This point is outside, and the ratio is considered as, here it is full length is taken as m, and this length is taken as n. The ratio is taken as m is to n here. This is n. Okay. M is to n. In such a case, you get the formula as, the formula doesn't change, only the sign changes here. So the formula would be m x2 minus n x1 by m minus n, m y2 minus n y1 by m minus n. Okay, only the sign changes. So this is for internal division and this is for external division. For internal division, you have the ratio m is to n here from a to p and p to b. So same here. The ratio is from a to p and b to p, but the point p is outside the line AB. Is that clear? Next. If P is a midpoint of AB, what will happen if this M is to N ratio, M is to N ratio is 1 is to 1? Then you have to actually omit this. It all becomes 1, isn't it? In this positive, if you take, it all becomes 1. So what will be your formula? It would be x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. This is actually called as a midpoint formula for a given line. Okay. Next, we have an example here. The coordinates of a point dividing internally the line joining the points. So you're given a line and they've told it's internal. So let us take the points to be 4, comma minus 2 and B to be 8, comma 6. And then this will be the point P of x, comma y. And the ratio is 7 is to 5. You're supposed to find these coordinates x and y. How do we do that? Internal formula. So internal division formula has to be applied here. You have the formula as x, comma y is equal to m x2 plus n x1 by m plus n, comma m y2 plus n y1 by m plus n. This is a formula. So for x, if you're supposed to find the x, what will you do? M is nothing but 7. So here you can just note down x1, y1, x2, y2, and this is m and this is n. Just substitute and find out. These are simple ones. You can do it. Substitute the values and find the answer. Waiting for your answer. So you're actually, you have 56. 56 plus 20 would be 76 by 12. Similarly here 42 minus 10, 32 by 12. So on simplifying again, both will go in 4. So it'll get 19 by 3, 8 by 2. So your right option would be option C, 19 by 3, 8 by 3. I hope it's clear. Next, we have area of a triangle. This formula actually we have used in properties of triangles also. So if you have the coordinates of the vertices of a triangle as A of x1, y1, B of x2, y2, and C of x3, y3, then the area of a triangle is given by half into, first we consider x1, x2, x3, then in the second column, y1, y2, y3, and in the third column, it's 1 everywhere. Okay. So area is given by half into x1 into y2 minus y3, because we are just using determinant here. Okay. y2 minus y3 plus x2 into with respect to the first column, x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. This is a formula. So as I told you in the previous slide, so the 3 points A, B, C are collinear if the area of the triangle is 0. For the 3 points to be collinear in a triangle, it has to be 0. How do we find this? For what value of k are the points, you're given 3 points, are collinear. So how can we find this? You're given just 3 points here and you have to find that they're collinear. So what we do is we consider the points to be, so here I'll take the points to be a of x1, y1, b of x2, y2, and then c of x3, y3. These are the points. Okay. So your x2 would be minus k plus 1, and your x3, y3, and here x1, y1. Yeah. What do we do now? You already know for the triangle, because there are 3 points, for them to be collinear, the area should be equal to 0. What's the formula to find the area now? You know that's x1, y2 minus y3 plus x2, y3 minus y1 plus x3, y1 minus y2 is equal to 0. So what is k, x1 here? That's k. And y2. You have to just substitute the values now. y2 is 2k minus y3. So it's minus 6 plus 2k. I'm just substituting it directly. So x2 would be minus k plus 1 into y3. y3 is 6 minus 2k, y1 minus 2 plus 2k. Plus x3 is again minus 4 minus k, and then we have y1. y1 would be 2 minus 2k minus y2 is 2k. Now just simplify the terms, what gets cancelled, and then move further. Suppose there is anything to get cancelled. So you have 4k minus 6. Correct, 4k minus 6. So I can write this as 4k minus 6. So 4k square minus 6k plus here 2k gets cancelled and I'm left with 4 alone. So because I have a minus sign here, minus 4k plus 4. Correct? And then here again 2 minus 4k has to be simplified. So I can write minus 4 2s are 8, minus into minus plus 4 4s are 16k minus 2k plus 4k square, and that is equal to 0. Now again simplify the terms as much as possible and arrive at your final answer. I can write 8k square plus 16k minus 12k. So what am I left with? Plus 4k. Is equal to 0. If I take out 4 common from this, I'll be left with 2k square plus k minus 1 is equal to 0. Check if you can factorize this. So you have minus 2k square. You can write 2k and k. It will give you plus k. So my terms would be 2k square plus 2k. I'm splitting the middle term here. So 2k, k plus 1 minus 1, k plus 1 is equal to 0. So 2k minus 1 into k plus 1 is equal to 0. I have k is equal to half, k is equal to minus 1. So what am I supposed to consider now? It has to be either half or minus 1. It's C. Is that right? C is the right option. Area of a quadrilateral. So when we speak about quadrilateral, we have area of a quadrilateral ABCD with vertices A x1, y1, b x2, y2, c x3, y3, and d x4, y4. We get the area by using this formula. See, as you observe, to remember it in an easier way, and x4, y4. So here, x1 minus x3, the opposite ones. Just see here, half into determinant of x1 minus x3. Then y1 on the next, y1 minus y3. Similarly here, x2 minus x4 and y2 minus y4. So it is the opposites of each other. Okay. Now we have centroid of a triangle. The coordinates of a centroid G of a triangle whose vertices are A of x1, y1, B of x2, y2, and C of x3, y3 is given by, how do you get the centroid? That is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 plus y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. This G, centroid is denoted by G. So what is meant by a centroid? It is the lines which are actually drawn from the center of anything to the vertex. Okay. And that point where these three lines coincide or join, that point is called as the centroid. So if D, E, and F are the midpoints of the sides, if I take the side BC, here it's D, and for CA, if it's E, and here it's F. And what do we say? The centroid of triangle ABC minus centroid of triangle DEF. You can actually take the construct a triangle here also, isn't it? If you join the points. So what do they say? Centroid of triangle ABC minus centroid of triangle DEF. So please remember this formula to find the centroid of any given triangle. Next, we have circumcenter. Even this topic was already discussed in the properties of triangle chapter. So when we speak about circumcenter of a triangle, if P of x comma y is a circumcenter of a triangle ABC, then PA is equal to PB is equal to PC. If you consider these points, PA is equal to PB is equal to PC. We can determine the coordinates of P by actually by simplifying this equation. There's an equation which we solve for this for x and y. So the circumcenter of a right angled triangle is actually the midpoint of its hypotenuse. So here, in fact, they've just taken the circumcenter. Circumcenter in the sense, if you have a circle around this triangle, and then you consider the points, then the P is a circumcenter of this triangle. And in case this given triangle is a right angled triangle, then the circumcenter would be the midpoint of the hypotenuse. If you consider BC to be the hypotenuse, then the circumcenter will be the midpoint of this particular hypotenuse. So you have to remember this condition for circumcenter. That is very important. PA is equal to PB is equal to PC, where P is the point where the three lines intersect. Then we have orthocenter. Now you have already come across centroid, then you came across circumcenter, then orthocenter. Let's see what is orthocenter and know the difference between all these, okay? The coordinates of the orthocenter of a triangle whose vertices are A of x1, y1, B of x2, y2, and C of x3, y3 is actually given by this formula. Because here they actually consider the slope of a line. Slope of line will be discussed with you all when we go to straight angles. Sorry, straight lines. So when we speak about slope, it's always tangent, right? So the formula is x1 tan A plus x2 tan B plus x3 tan C by tan A plus tan B plus tan C, comma y1 tan A plus y2 tan B plus y3 tan C by tan A plus tan B plus tan C, because we consider slope of a straight line. Okay. So orthocenter of a right angle triangle is right angled at A. Okay. Because if you consider a right angled triangle, then it will be always right angled at A. The orthocenter of a triangle will lie inside if the triangle is acute, and it will lie outside if it is obtuse. Okay. And in triangle ABC, if you consider the circumcenter, yes, the centroid G and orthocenter O are collinear. Is that clear? If you consider a triangle ABC, and if you take all the three together, you can see that the circumcenter, the centroid, and the orthocenter, the relation between them, those three are actually collinear. That means if the points what you get there, if you take them together, you can say that the area of that is equal to 0. And also the ratio between them, the ratio between the circumcenter and the centroid, these two, and the next two, they are in the ratio 1:2. And in an equilateral triangle, if you consider an equilateral triangle, if all the sides are equal, then you see that all the three, including in centers, they coincide. They all fall on the same point. They all coincide. Okay. So now I know you all have this confusion. What is circumcenter? What is orthocenter? What's the difference? All the figures look alike. So just see here. The difference between orthocenter and circumcenter. Orthocenter is the point of intersection of three altitudes drawn from the vertex of a triangle. If you consider a triangle, these are the three altitudes drawn from the vertex. Okay, from the vertex to the opposite side, correct? But circumcenter is a point of intersection of a perpendicular bisector of the three sides. If you just consider, it is just joining from the perpendicular bisectors. Okay. The circumcenter joins from the perpendicular bisectors of the three sides of a triangle. If you consider like this will be circumcenter. Next, we have centroid. What is centroid then? The centroid is the intersection of a point of a line drawn from the midpoint of each side. Here it is just told it's drawn from the perpendicular. But here in centroid, it's drawn from the midpoint of each side. From midpoint of each side, they are drawn and they meet together. So from here, if you join, this is called centroid. To the opposite vertex, they go and meet. Next, we have incenters. This is already discussed with you all in the previous chapter also. If x comma y is a incenter of a triangle ABC, where A, B, and C are the given vertices with coordinates x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, and ABC are the sides of a triangle, then you have this. If you consider a triangle here, where a of x1, y1, b of x2, y2, and c of x3, y3 are the given vertices, then the sides are A, B, C. Considering this, the in-center is given by this formula. Ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 by A plus B plus C, comma, ay1 plus by2 plus cy3 by A plus B plus C. The in-center is nothing but the circle is inside the triangle and you have a point here. So the in-center of this is actually given by the formula. You can refer to your previous chapter. So you have a figure for in-center there. So that is given by ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 by A plus B plus C. These formulas are very important. You can please note down those. Ay1 plus by2 plus cy3 by A plus B plus C will be the in-center of a triangle. Then what is meant by x-center? X-center means there are 3 x-centers in a triangle. As told to you all, if you consider one triangle and if it's extended on all the different possible ways, you can actually draw 3 triangles in between them. Sorry, 3 circles in between them. I'll show you that. Just have a look here. A triangle and extended on all the sides, you can draw 3 circles. Okay, in between those extended lines. So that is called as a x-centers of triangle. So if you consider from this point, that is the tangent, from the tangent to the center of the circle, from tangent to the center of circle. So these are actually called as that I1, I2 and I3 is actually called as the x-centers. So how do you get that? By just changing the sign from the in-centers formula. So here, if you're supposed to find for I1, you just change the first sign, that is minus ax1 plus bx2 plus c3 cx3 by minus a plus b plus c, comma minus a y1 plus by2 plus cy3 by minus a plus b plus c. Okay, that is the formula. Now let us start with the problems. You have already recalled all the formulas. We are just applying that now in the problem section. The coordinates of the midpoints of the sides of triangles are 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. Then find the coordinates of its centroid. How do we find it? Which formula? Just think and apply. Directly it's given. You have to find the coordinate of the centroid. What's the formula for centroid? x1 plus x2 plus x3. Centroid is given by G by 3, comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. Can you find it? Please do it soon. So your right option would be 9 by 3 will give you 3. So I can write 3 here. 7 by 3. So the right option is option A, 3, 7 by 3. Let's check the next one here. The coordinates of incenter of a triangle ABC with vertices A of 0, 6, B 0, 8, 12 and C 8, 0 is, how do we find it? The coordinates of incenters of a triangle. Incenters means, as told to you all, it's a triangle. Yes, we consider a triangle and there's a incenter inside that, and you have to find the coordinates of that point, B of 8, 12 and C of 8, 0. How do we find that incenter, this point? I use the formula AX1 plus BX2 plus CX3, because you know the opposite sides. We have to also consider the sides for this. So I'll take the sides as ABC for this. Divided by A plus B plus C and AY1 plus BY2 plus CY3 by A plus B plus C. Now, do we know what is this ABC? We don't know. How can we find this ABC? This A is nothing but the distance between BC, right? And B is nothing but the distance between AC. And C is the distance between AB. So what we do, we apply distance formula in order to find this. A is nothing but the distance between BC. So let me use the formula root of 8 minus 8 whole square plus 12 minus 0 whole square. And that is 144, which is equal to 12. Similarly, B is equal to AC, and that is root of 8 minus 0 whole square plus 0 minus 6 whole square. So I get 64 plus 36, which is 10. Similarly, C is equal to AB, and that is equal to root of 8 square plus 12 minus 6 whole square, which is equal to root of 64 plus 6 square is 36. Again, I get a 10. I got my A, B, and C. Now you know the formula. Just substitute in that and get the right answer. So my A is 12. So I'll write 12 into x1. What is x1 here? X1 is nothing but this. I can write it here. X1, Y1, X2, Y2, and X3, Y3. Substitute and get the answer now. B is again 10. X2 is 8. C is 12. Sorry, 10. Similarly, 12 into 6 plus 10 into 12 plus 10 into 0 divided by 12 plus 10 plus 10. This gives you the coordinates 80, 80, 160 divided by 32 and 192 divided by 32. Is it divisible by 32? Is the question. Yes, it is divisible by 32. I'll get 5. And for this, it's that's 32. Yeah, 6. 5, 6. So the right option is option D, 5, 6. Is that clear? So in such cases, you should think of distance formula in combination with incenters. What about the next problem? You know there are 3 points given. And what is asked? They told they are collinear. You have to find T1, T2. How do we find it? And one more condition given is T1 is not equal to T2. When 3 points are given and they say you have to say that they are collinear and you have to find the points T1 and T2, what we do here is we consider that as triangle because the 3 vertices are given. Let me consider it as triangle. What's the formula for triangle? I know the formula for triangle is half area of a triangle. Half into only the x coordinates first. A T1 square, A T2 square, and then comes the y coordinate. So 0, 2A T1, 2A T2, and then I have ones. So what operation can I apply here? And this area is considered as 0 because they've already given that it is collinear. So here when I apply any operation, I can actually take out A from the first row, first column, and 2A from the second column as common out, right? So if I remove them out, I can write half into A into 2A, and then 1 T1 square, T2 square, 0, T1, T2, 1, 1, 1. This is what we get. And that is equal to 0. So if I take out all this towards that, it will become 0. So what am I left with? Only this determinant. How do I solve it? I can consider the operation here. If I take one, T1 minus T2. And then next it's 0. So minus 0 plus T1 square T2 minus T2 square T1 is equal to 0. So I have T1 minus T2. What's common to both? T1, T2 is common. If I take it out, I'm left with the T1 here minus T2 is equal to 0. Now again, if I take out T1 minus T2 common from both these, I have 1 plus T1, T2 is equal to 0. So from this, I can clearly say that 1 plus T1, T2 is equal to 0. So T1, T2 is equal to minus 1. That is what they've asked us. The product of T1 into T2, that is minus 1. Is that clear? If any doubts, please ask. I'll explain it once again. The area of a quadrilateral. Here also it's quite simple because you know the formula directly. You have to just apply it to the formula. You know area of a quadrilateral of ABCD. Area of quadrilateral ABCD is equal to half into, I told you the opposite sides. So you have to remember x1 minus x3 and y1 minus y3, x2 minus x4, y2 minus y4. We consider that. And directly substituting the values, you have to get the answer. x1, y1, please find the answer. x4, y4. So it's half into minus 11 minus 1, 0, and minus 24. On simplifying, we can write it as multiplying this 11 fours are 44, 11 twos are 26. That's what we get, and minus 0. So your right answer is, yes, it's 132 square units. So the right option is option B, 132 square units. Let's check out this. Consider a triangle ABC with vertices given. A, B, and C vertices are given. What is the circumcenter of the angle ABC? So how do we find this? You have to find the circumcenter. So in order to find circumcenter, let us consider P of x comma y to be the circumcenter. And what's the condition for this? The condition for circumcenter is PA is equal to PB is equal to PC. This is a condition. You have to remember these. So using this, you have to find the coordinates x comma y. You have to find this x comma y. So first let us consider, say, PA is equal to PB. Then I can also take it as PA square is equal to PB square. So what will happen? My A will be this and this. So you have to use what? Distance formula. When you always see PA, it's distance formula. So I can write it as x minus 2. Minus of minus becomes plus whole square plus y minus 3 whole square, and that is equal to x minus, I'm going with B now, x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 1 whole square. Solving this, I can write x square plus 4 plus 4x plus y square plus 9 minus 6y is equal to x square plus 4 plus, sorry, minus 4x y square plus 1 minus 2y. Simplify this whole equation and arrive at a conclusion. So x square will get cancelled if you get it to one side, y square gets cancelled. So I have 4x, if I get the x term this side, plus 4x minus 6y plus 2y, and then 4 plus 9 is 13 minus 5 is equal to 0. So I get 8x minus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0. So divide throughout by 4, I'll get 2x minus y plus 2 is equal to 0. This is one equation what I get. Similarly, I need to find another one. What is that? I need to find P A. Again, I'll be considering PA square and PC square. Okay. So you know what is PA square? You don't have to calculate that now. PC square would be x minus 1 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. So I can write it as x square plus 1 minus 2x plus y square plus 4 minus 4y. Getting all the terms together, x squares and y squares will get cancelled as always. And what will be left out here? The left out terms, just check here. The left out terms would be 4x, and this comes to the other side. So 6x, and you have minus 6y. When this comes, it becomes plus. So you will get minus 2y, and you have 13 here. Here you have 5. Again, it is 8 is equal to 0. So on dividing throughout by 2, you will get a 3x minus y plus 4 is equal to 0. This is your equation number 2. Now solve both the equations. I'll write this here. On changing the sign, I'll get minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 2. This is what I get. Substituting in one of these equations, again, I have 2 into minus 2 minus y is equal to minus 2. So it's minus 4 minus y is equal to minus 2 is equal to 2. So again, I'll get y is equal to minus 2. So my right option would be option A, minus 2 comma minus 2. Is that clear? It's the same question. In fact, you're asked to find the centroid of the triangle ABC with these points. So what do we do directly? X1 plus x2 plus x3, that is, this becomes 0, 1. So 1 divided by 3 comma, directly you can do it. 3 plus 1, 4 plus 2. 6 divided by 3 will give you 2. Is there this option? Yes. Option B is the right answer. So it's 1 by 3 comma 2. Please be very, very thorough with the formula so you can solve all the problems that comes from this particular part. Including both, you will get around 5 to 7 problems in your NDA paper. It's very easy to tackle. Please remember the formulas. So if minus 5, 4 divides the line segment between the coordinate axis in the ratio 1:2, then what is the equation? How do we find this? How can we solve this? The ratio is given, and also you're given the point which divides it. If you consider a straight line here, you're given the points. Actually, you're given this P of minus 5 comma 4, and also the ratio 1:2. That is M and N is given to you, and you don't know what is A and B. So let us consider A to be some A comma 0 and B to be some 0 comma B. Okay. A to be A comma 0 and B to be 0 comma B. And you know already what is M and N. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to find the equation of the line. How can we do that? Use section formula. When you're given the ratios and when you're solving, you have to always apply section formula. How do we do that? Here you already know what is your x and y. So x is minus 5 and that is equal to mx2 plus ny1, sorry, x1 by m plus n. So let me substitute. M is 1 into, this is x1, y1. Zero, x2, y2. So m into 0 plus n is 2 into a divided by 3. So you'll get 2a by 3. So what is a? A is equal to minus 15 by 2. Correct. A is equal to minus 15 by 2. Similarly, find the next one. What would it be that? You have 4 and that is equal to 1 into y2 is b plus 2 into y1 divided by 3. So it would be b by 3. So your value of b will be 12. You already got the 2 points A and B. So how can you find the equation here? For this equation, actually, you need to apply your form, that is y minus y2 form. So directly, this actually in detail will be going through in straight lines again. So the equation of line joining is given by minus 15 by 2 comma 0. That is this minus 15 by 2 comma 0. That is A point. And the B point is 0 comma 12. So we can find the equation by using the slope of the equation form. 0 plus 15 by 2 into x plus 15 by 2. Y minus y1 is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 into x minus this form. Okay. So it is nothing but, on solving this whole thing, we'll get y is equal to 12 by 15 by 2 into x plus 15 by 2. Solve this by taking the reciprocals and interchanging the terms. You will arrive at 8x minus 5y plus 60 is equal to 0. Please try this. This is the equation that you get on solving it. It's actually 8x minus, oh sorry, it's 8x minus 5y plus 60. Right one, Varsha, it is option C. What about this? What's the distance between these two lines? How can we find the distance between the two given lines? Any idea? How do we find the distance between these two lines? You can see here if you divide. Yeah, I already got an answer here. It's option C, 9 units. No, you just check here. You can just try by simplifying this. If you divide throughout by 2, what will happen? You will get 3x plus 4y is equal to 9. What do you see? You can observe that both the lines coincide. They are equal, right? So when both the lines coincide, what will be the distance between that line? It will be 0. So you have to just observe the two lines and then conclude with the answer. Okay. Since both the lines are coincident to each other, the distance between them would be 0. Here the points are given as 5, 1, 1, minus 1 and 11, 4. What about these points? Are they collinear? Are they vertices of a right angle triangle? Are they equilateral, or are they vertices of isosceles? What are you supposed to do here when they ask you such questions? What are we supposed to do? Use distance formula. Directly apply distance formula and check what could that be. If I consider the points to be A, B, C, what would be AB? AB is equal to 5 minus 1, 4. 4 square is 16 plus 1 minus of minus becomes plus, that is 2. 2 square is 4. So I get root 20, that is 2, 5. And what would be BC? BC will be again 1 minus 11, that is 10, 100 plus 1 minus 4, 5. 5 square is 25. So I'll get 125. 125 would be 25 into 5. So 5 root 5. Similarly, AC or CA would be 11 minus 5, that is 6. So it's 36 plus 4 minus 1 is 3. It's 9. So I'll get 45. So it's 3 root 5. What do I observe from this? I can see that 3 plus 2 is 5. So I can say AB plus AC is equal to BC. What condition does this satisfy? Is it right angled or is it vertices? Which condition does it satisfy? You can say that the points are collinear because for the sides, you see that AB plus AC is equal to BC. Right? So clearly the points are collinear to each other. Very good, Varsha. Next, the last one. If the three vertices of a parallelogram A, B, C, D are ABC are given, you have to find what is D equal to. ABC is given to you. You have to find what is D equal to. How can we solve this? Let us consider the coordinates of D to be x comma y. Okay, coordinates of D to be x comma y. Now, if you consider a parallelogram, say A, B, C, D, where A is 1 comma A, B is 3 comma A, and C is 2 comma B, and your D is x comma y. How do we find it? You know, for a parallelogram, you have a diagonal which intersects at O. Because the diagonals actually bisect each other, we can find for the x coordinates, okay? So if we consider these 2 points, that is AC, we can say 1 plus 2, that is x1 plus x2 by 2 is equal to, for the next one, that is 3 plus x by 2. I'm considering only the x-axis. So I'll write 3 by 2 is equal to 3 by 2 plus x by 2. So x by 2 will be 0. That implies x is equal to 0. Similarly, for y coordinates, how do you find for y coordinates now? You have to consider the y-axis. So a plus b by 2 is equal to a plus y by 2. Take the alternate x and y axes, okay? So here a by 2 plus b by 2 is equal to a by 2 plus y by 2. I can cancel out these two. And I have b is equal to y, or y is equal to b. So what is my option? B. Very good. It is 0 comma b. That's the right answer. So that's all for today. We have discussed only about the coordinate system or the coordinate geometry part where we have gone through all distance formula, section formula, and also the centroids and area of a triangle, parallelogram, and the different conditions to be considered when we solve distance formula. So those are the topics which comes under this. In the next class, we'll be learning about straight lines. Okay, thank you.